Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am your Muse Traci. I am here to inspire you and empower you to live the life of your dreams, to create on purpose exactly what you want in all areas of your life, to stop settling and to stop suffering. You are not here to suffer. If that sounds good to you, you are more than welcome to subscribe to my channel. I offer one-on-one coaching, and in my coaching program, we take a deep dive into your subconscious programming or your belief system. We do the work together to change the programming that is effectively covering up and masking, potentially, your true nature. I will take you through the process of cleaning up the programming, integrating the creator belief system, releasing stored emotions from the past, as well as teaching you how to honor and process your emotions on an ongoing basis, as well as much, much more. We meet 2 to 3 times per week, and in between sessions, you also have email access to me. You have homework to do in between the sessions that you must do. And yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of hand-holding. It's an intensive month. This is feedback that I get a lot. It's intense. I don't know. It's meant to be intense because what we're going for here is real transformation in every area of your life. It really doesn't matter what you're coming to me that you want to manifest. Great. That's the catalyst. We're going to work on all areas though, and return you back to your true nature of being an effortless and unlimited creator. Most of my clients will stay with me 2 to 3 months to integrate these teachings, and sort of, by the second month, they're starting to see things shift and change. So then that's a different, place that they're in. So they like to still be in coaching with me so that, as they're moving through this new territory in their 3D, they can continue with the integration. They're not thrown off. So 2 to 3 months, some longer, some shorter. It's always up to you and the amount of support that you want in your journey. This is your journey, your choice. If you're interested in learning more, leave me a comment down below, send me an email. I also have a free mini course, a couple of free offers. I have a free mini course on my website, also in the description, why it's possible even to manifest a specific person if that's what you're interested in. So I'm really, in this course, I wanted to clear up some of the common questions that keep coming up. Like, is it possible? Do they have free will? Is it working? Can I do this? Like, let's get rid of that right away so that we can focus on other things, other, challenges that you might be having. I also have a 7-day I am challenge to get you back to using your powerful I am to create exactly what you want. Okay, so check out the links for both of those in the description down below. They're both completely free. And yeah, a little bit different setup. It's early here. I'm coffeeing still. The sun is rising behind me, so we're just going with it. So in the video today, I want to talk about the power of putting your desires in the past. This is your goals, your desires in the past. This was inspired from one of my one-on-one clients who used this recently and had an amazing transformation within herself, got results also, of course. And I realized I haven't really recorded something on my channel yet about living from the end. So that's what we're going to talk about today, you guys, living from the end. And I remember early on in my journey thinking, like, what is that? How do you do that? And I don't know how to do that. And so maybe you're feeling that way too. I think it can sound like a big mystical thing, but it's quite simple actually. And so that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. I'm going to bring it back to the simplicity and what it is and how to do it. And I'm going to share the story with my client as well. So yes, I remember being confused about this technique or mindset. And actually, I would call this more of a mindset. It's not just a passing thought or an imaginal act that you perform once. It is more of a mindset, and it's about the way you look at your reality, the way you look at yourself, the way you look at your desires. this living from the end, right? So I would call it more of a mindset than just a technique. So how do you do it? I'm going to talk about how to do it, and then I'm going to share my client's success story about how she did it and how it really accelerated her journey and gave her so much peace on her way to, realizing her manifestation. She was getting movement, but really it created this inner peace within her that is obviously going to allow her to realize and receive even more and more and more of everything that she's manifesting. So first, let's talk about how to do it and what exactly it means. So, like I said before, it's actually quite simple. Living from the end is when you think from your desire rather than thinking of your desire. So thinking from your desire means you already have it now. If you think of your desire, that means you're still separate from it. It's over there, and it's usually off in the future somewhere, and you're even possibly dreadfully waiting on it. So now that you understand how important it is, well, I'm assuming you understand how important it is. If not, go watch my video about waiting. No more waiting. It's one of my last 2 or 3 videos. I can't remember. No more waiting is the title of it, or something like that. Basically, waiting gets you more waiting. So if you're not living from the end, if you're not practicing living from the end, you might possibly be waiting. Again, if you're thinking that it's still over there, off in the future, you're basically waiting, right? So no more waiting. Go watch that video, why no more waiting, and then come back and watch this video to completion. And we talk about, I will be talking about the technique of living from the end so that you're not waiting. So living from the end is so important. You have to assume your desire is already yours. So living from the end is a way to do that. Okay, it's a mindset shift. So as I was saying, yes, it's more of a mindset than a technique. A technique is something that you do maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 times a day. Maybe it lasts 10, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. No, this is a mindset that you're practicing all day, every day. So the way I did this when I was, learning how to do it, I was conquering my bewilderment about living from the end. So I basically would, instead of having affirmations that I was doing all day long, I would, rather than, doing that, I would just kind of sit back very intentionally, and I would observe my thoughts throughout the day, simply observe my thoughts. And I was just mostly listening to what was going on in my mind and then asking one question, not 20, just one question. Is this thought a thought that I would have from my end? And I think this is directly from Neville. I can't remember where, but I remember him talking about this. You just ask yourself, is this something I would think from the end? Is this what I would feel in my end, right? So if the answer is yes, then great. You are living from the end. If it's a thought you would have from your end, you're basically living from the end. Easy as that. Simple as that. If the answer is no, then there's no judgment. There's no shame, blame, criticism of yourself. None of this is helpful, by the way. I know I've spoken about this, but I want to keep drilling it into your mind because, we have a tendency to be hard on ourselves in this journey, in this process. But all of that judgment, shame, blame, criticism, it creates more suppression within yourself. Okay. So it's just not helpful. Be easy with yourself. Be easy. Know that you're like light years ahead, that you even know this information and that you're trying. You're trying. Okay. You're hugely ahead of the game. So be easy with yourself. Have some grace for yourself. So if the answer is no, simply adjust the same thought to be from your end as closely as you can. Some thoughts will look quite a bit different, right? Because sometimes the thought is just like, why isn't this happening? Why isn't this here yet? So, or why isn't my specific person doing this. Well, that thought wouldn't happen from your end. It would be something like, I'm so happy that this is always occurring. I'm so happy SP is always doing this. I'm using a specific person as an example, but you can do this. You should be doing this with all different desires, including money, job, whatever your desire is, moving, traveling, taking a trip, whatever it is, you need to think that it is already a done deal. And again, so you ask yourself the simple question, is this a thought I would have from my end? If the answer is no, you take that specific thought and you ask yourself, okay, what would it be like from my end if I was in it, if I was already in it? What would I think on this subject, right? So it's got to be on the subject, right? So we're not going like, ooh, no, that's not from my end. Let me just think, okay, everything is working out for me. Or also don't do this. No, no. Don't think that. That's not true. Change the thought. Change it very specifically to be from your end, because you're training your mindset to accept this as true. It's not always just about getting rid of the negative thought or the thought that's not from your end. It's training yourself, having this awareness. Oh, I'm thinking as if it's not here. Let me take a moment and transform that to be a thought from it already being here, right? So it's a little bit of like training. It's not just about stopping the negative thought or the thought that's not from your end. It's training yourself to think from the end. Okay, so change the thought very specifically. So I'm mentioning there's a big difference of thinking of your desired end, and thinking from your desired end. You want to practice the latter. This is so powerful because it changes everything when you think from the end. You're also assuming the feeling of already having it, which is a requirement for successful manifesting. You're accepting your idea as done, which is also a requirement for successful manifesting. And you'll stop feeling lack, wanting, wishing, which, you know what I'm going to say, is a requirement for successful manifesting, right? So this technique does pretty much everything that you need to do to be in the state of having, rather in the state of lacking, wishing, wanting, and waiting. All of those states get you more of that. The state of having, if you practice what I'm teaching you in this video, moment to moment, day to day, consistently, if you practice living from the end, the evidence will fill in around you. Don't have to do anything. As within, so without. If it's not complete within, if it's not done within, it can never happen out there. Don't waste your time wishing and hoping for that to be the case. It's just not how this reality works. This realm of cause and effect works. You're wishing for something that is quite literally impossible. So this is the cycle of frustration and, what I don't want you guys to be in, okay? We have to move ourselves internally and get out of the cycle of frustration. If you're marinating internally in lack and wanting and wishing, and then why isn't it working? Because every, couple of times a day, I do a technique and visualize, but I don't see it. It's like, what are you doing in between the techniques? Are you longing, wishing, lacking, waiting? Well, there's probably more time in that than in your technique. Okay, so this is the importance of living from the end. This is also how to do it. And then I also want to share my client success and another technique, actually, another way of doing it. And this is definitely something that Neville taught as well. So my client used the technique, I remember when, which, yes, you can look it up. Neville teaches about this technique as well. So my amazing client, she had faced a lot of her fears, a lot of opposites, like a total boss. And she was wondering why it was taking things a little while to shift, right? Some time had gone by. We talked about the issue of time creates more time. But what she did was she used Neville's I Remember When technique to practice living from the end. And this really shifted things for her. She put the resolution with her specific person in the past rather than keeping it in the future and thinking of it, wondering where it is, wondering when it's going to come, knowing that it's coming. But you see, she was still creating a little bit of resistance by thinking like, where is it? Why isn't it here? It should be here. I faced all these opposites. I cleared out all of my fears. I conquered all my fears. So now we just need this thing to happen, right? So when you do that, you're keeping that thing, for her it was the resolution, off in the future. So she brilliantly imagined that it had already happened. It's already done. She's like remembering it. She's remembering, you can call it remembering your future. I think Joe Dispenza says that. So she remembered the conversation as if it had happened in the past. This is so powerful, you guys. Think about this. Anything that you want, whether it's an amount of money, a certain job. Let's just take a job for an example. If you want a job or if you want to create a business, you don't think like it's off in the future. You think about this goal, getting a job, as if you remember going to the interview, getting the congratulations you're hired email or phone call, getting, your first week under your belt. You are remembering these things as if they've already happened. Okay, time is an illusion. You can work with it in your mind this way. You can use it to your advantage by saying it already happened. Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference. And if you continue to keep thinking of it as something that already happened, you're not going to be in lack. You're not going to be in wanting and wishing and waiting. You're just not. It's in the past. It already happened. So reframe your desire as, I remember when. I remember when I got that job. I remember when I got that resolution conversation from my specific person. I remember when I got the love confession. I remember when I got the amount of money, whatever it is. So she put the events and the circumstances in the past as if they were already done. And so naturally, now you can think from having already had those things. They've already happened. They've already been accomplished. And you can easily live from the end. You can easily think as if it's already done for you. And you know what I'm going to say? This is a requirement for manifesting. And so after weeks of facing her fears, breezing through quite a bit of rather large opposites, and then a period of seeming stagnation, she saw significant movement from her specific person after doing this. And not just that, but she is back on top of the way she feels. She feels very confident. She feels that it's already done. Truly, she is in the knowing and the confidence, and I would even say the conviction that it is done. Done, done, done. So proud of her. So try it out, you guys. This is, the I Remember technique, like my client did, and you can observe your thoughts and change them to be from the end. Either way, whatever resonates with you, try it somehow, some way. This should be a dominant thing in your practice. As always, it doesn't matter how you do it, just do it, whatever works for you, right? It's not the technique, it's you. You are the one that is the magic. It's not the technique that is the magic, it's you. As within, so without. So make sure you are practicing living from the end in some way. Whatever way makes sense to you. Maybe there's a third way. Leave me a comment down below. Do you have another way that you live from the end? But again, it's not really a technique. It's a mindset, right? I want you to be practicing this throughout the day, not just once or twice for 15 minutes, and then you go back to questioning, doubting, longing, waiting. Not that way, right? So you live from the end so that you're not doing that. We're thinking from the desire rather than of the desire. It's the difference of one word, but it is huge in how it affects your reality. right? So not thinking from the current circumstances, that'll get you more of the current circumstances, right? So this is how the master manifester does it. The master manifester doesn't base their thoughts, feelings, emotions, assumptions on what is currently manifested. The master manifester chooses his or her mindset, assumptions, feelings, emotions, decides to feel a certain way, creates their own feelings and thoughts and assumptions. The master doesn't simply rely on circumstances to make him or her feel and think some way or believe even some way. You don't have to wait for outside to change for you to believe some way. Your beliefs are a choice. Your beliefs are a choice. Please integrate this. It's so important. And this is the biggest mistake that we all sometimes make, meaning basing what we think, feel, and believe on what's currently in your circumstances. This is simply regurgitation. It's not creation. You're not creating your reality. You're just regurgitating it. And I want to be strong, but, easy on you at the same time. So it's like, yeah, we all do it, but also stop it. Because this is what is going to keep you in the current reality, getting more of that. And your preferred reality is already ready for you. You're not waiting on it. It's waiting on you. Waiting on you for what? Accept that it's done. Live from the end of having it now. Right? So, and it's a habit. It's a habit that you want to develop. So practice living from the end, doing it the way I described that I did it. I remember when in my journey as well, but my client did it so brilliantly, so effortlessly. She also did it in sort of like an imaginal act. So she did it sort of like in a concentrated way, but then she carried it with her, right? So she imagined that the resolution conversation was in the past. She imagined how it happened, what was said, how she felt, and she imagined it so vividly that she was easily then able to carry that feeling of it's done, that already happened, with her. So give it a try, you guys, and any way you want, any way that you find you can do it, practice living from the end. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.